For today's video, I am going to be comparing the Litter Robot 4 and the Neakasa M1. These are both automatic litter boxes. I do have some notes here that I wrote for myself just so I can make sure to mention everything that I feel like will be helpful for you guys to know when it comes to comparing both of the automatic litter boxes. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If you do want my dedicated reviews for each of these litter boxes, I do have individual review videos, so you guys can definitely check those out if you want even more details about each of them, because this video might not be quite as in-depth as those videos, but hopefully this can still give you a good comparison to help you figure out maybe which one would be the best fit for you and your cat or your cats. So first off, of course, these are both automatic litter boxes. They are self-cleaning and they can both be controlled from an app. They are sensor activated and they both do have these safety features to make sure to stop moving whenever it detects that your cat is in the litter box or near the litter box. So basically, if your cat touches the litter box, the automatic litter box will stop to make sure that it's not going to hurt your cat. So that is something that both of these litter boxes do. So they both do have those safety features, which is very important. Obviously, when it comes to an automatic litter box, I know that there is a lot out there where people don't want to use them because they're worried about their cat's safety. And of course, that is the most important thing. So if you don't feel comfortable with a litter box and you don't feel like it is safe, obviously don't get it. You want to make sure that you pick one that you do feel comfortable with. And I will be completely honest here, both of these are litter boxes that I do feel comfortable with, and I'll explain a little bit more as to why for both of them, but basically it's because of the way that they move and all that stuff. So I'll let you know a little bit more about that, but I do feel like both of these are safe. There are some out there that I don't feel good about, but these are both litter boxes that I do really like, and my cats both really like it. So we actually use both of these consistently. So we do have two cats and we use both of these litter boxes. They are side by side. My cats just kind of alternate which ones they want to use, but they love them both. So also I should mention the amount of time that we've had both of them, so you can maybe feel like this is a more trustworthy review. So the Litter Robot 4, I think we've had it for like 2 years now. We did purchase this one ourselves, and we absolutely love it. And the Neakasa M1, this was actually gifted to us, but we've had this now for several months. I think maybe 3 to 4 months now at this point. But we've had it for a while to be able to test it out. I think maybe it's been closer to like 3 months, but we still like it as well, and our cats very much like it. But now let's get into more of the comparison about both of them. I do think that both of these litter boxes are great for larger breed cats, and the reason that we actually went for the Litter Robot 4 is because of the large size globe. It is something that works for larger breed cats, and that of course makes it good for all cats. But specifically if you have a larger cat, for example, we do have 2 Siberian cats, so they are a larger cat breed. These are both litter boxes that are large enough that I think they're good for larger breed cats. If you have a Maine Coon, just any larger breed cat, these are both that are great. So the Litter Robot 4, it does have the big kind of globe, and it has enough of a big size inside the globe where your cat can comfortably use the bathroom and not feel super like claustrophobic. The Neakasa M1, this one is an open top design. So this also makes it great for larger breed cats because your cat is not gonna feel like too closed in, and they're not gonna feel claustrophobic with that because it is open. So that one is also really, really nice for larger breed cats. So now let's talk about the price difference between these. So the Litter Robot 4 is definitely the most expensive one. This is a luxury purchase, and I feel like over the years, the price of the Litter Robot litter boxes have just gotten more and more expensive, which is really sad. I don't know if it's just because of popularity and them just wanting to charge more, which sucks. But the Litter Robot 4 retails for $699, so basically $700 for a litter box, which I know is definitely a turn off to a lot of people. But my husband and I will say this and keep saying it over and over. We think it is so worth it. It's amazing. We honestly can't imagine not having a litter box. And again, we bought that with our own money, and this is something that if it broke, we would buy it again. Like, it's that good. It's so convenient and nice. It just makes our lives a lot easier, and it makes our cats' lives better too, because then they always have a clean litter box to go to. It's amazing. It works great. We haven't had issues with it. And again, we've had that litter box for like 2 years now, and it's still going strong. We love it. So then the price of the Neakasa, this one is a lot more affordable, several $100s more affordable. The Neakasa M1 retails for $399, so basically $400. $300 cheaper than the Litter Robot 4. So if you're looking for a more affordable automatic litter box, I know it's still expensive, but this one is definitely a more affordable option when it comes to automatic litter boxes, because automatic litter boxes in general tend to be pretty pricey. But I feel like the Neakasa is one of the more affordable ones that are available, but again, one that is actually trustworthy too, because there are automatic litter boxes out there that are more affordable, but I don't trust them and I don't feel like they're as safe. So that's something to note as well when you are looking into getting one. So then also the design of between them. So the Litter Robot 4 is a larger design. Overall, it is just a bigger litter box. The actual globe is bigger and just the entire thing is larger. So if you live in a small apartment, you might feel like it takes up a lot of space, but honestly, my husband and I used to live in a small apartment and I think it would have been fine. We still would have been able to find a spot for it, but it might have been a little bit more difficult to find a spot for it if you are in a small apartment. The Neakasa M1 is actually decently smaller. I'll show you guys side-by-side video so you can see the size difference, but the Neakasa M1 I think is definitely great for smaller spaces if you live in a small apartment, or maybe you just don't want the litter box taking up a lot of space. This one's actually a lot more compact, but yet it's still great for larger breed cats because of the open top design. So yeah, there's something to note as well. If you want a larger one, if you're okay with a larger design, the Litter Robot 4 should work for you. But if you want something smaller and more compact or good for smaller spaces, then you might prefer the Neakasa M1. So then let's talk about the noise level. To be completely honest, I honestly feel like the noise level is pretty similar for both of them. I don't find either of them to be very loud. If you're sitting like right next to the litter box, or just if you're right near it, obviously you can still hear it, but it's not like some crazy loud noise. Like when we're upstairs, I don't hear it circulating or cleaning, but if we're like sitting on the couch, we'll be able to like faintly hear it cycling, but that's not really a huge deal. So honestly, I think that they're both relatively low noise level when it comes to it actually cleaning itself. The ease of cleaning. So the Litter Robot 4 I actually think is a little bit more difficult to clean than the Neakasa M1. The Neakasa M1 is actually super easy to clean, and I think it's because it does have that open top design, so it's just easy to get in there and clean it. With the Litter Robot 4, because it is a globe, you know, you have to like kind of like get in there to kind of clean it. So it just makes it a little bit more difficult to actually clean. Also, the Litter Robot 4, it does have the little waste bin in the bottom, of course, both of them do. But I don't know, the way that the Litter Robot 4 is designed, the base, when you take out the waste drawer, sometimes pieces can kind of like fall into the bottom of the Litter Robot 4, and you really have to like kind of like get in there to vacuum it out. It can kind of be a little bit difficult to clean that out. Luckily, stuff doesn't fall in there all the time, but that can happen. So because of just the design of the Litter Robot 4, I think it is a little bit more difficult to clean. It hasn't been a deal breaker for us. We still think it's fine. But also because of that, I feel like we've had some little minor issues with like the sensors. If some litter kind of gets into the bottom of the basin of the Litter Robot 4, we've been able to like easily clean it out, because it's also really easy to take the whole thing apart and then put it back together. But that's just something to kind of note about it. And then when it comes to the Neakasa M1, that one is just a lot easier to clean with the open top design. And then when it comes to the actual waste drawer, it almost feels like it doesn't like actually like fit as snugly inside of the machine, if that makes sense. It basically just sits under the machine rather than it being like a bottom compartment where litter can fall into. There's just the drawer, if that makes any sense. And if you were to remove the drawer, if any of the litter were to kind of fall out, it would just fall out onto the ground rather than inside of the actual litter box, if that makes sense. So because of that, I feel like overall it just is easier to clean. Then let's talk about the size of the waste drawer. So the Litter Robot 4, I actually do feel like it does have a larger waste drawer. So I feel like you can go a little bit longer before having to empty it. When it comes to the Neakasa waste drawer, this one is still a good size. We can, with 2 cats, we can go like a week before having to empty it. But also the way that it like dumps into it, I feel like it can kind of like stack it up and it doesn't like disperse around the waist drawer as well as the little robot does. So it kind of has a lot of times where it will like go to clean it and then it will say in the app, I'll get a notification saying that it needs to be, that the waist drawer is full. And sometimes all I have to do is actually just shake it so that it kind of disperses better, because sometimes when I get that notification, the waist drawer is not even like completely full. It's just that it kind of like all stacked into one place, so the sensors are thinking that it's full. So I'll just have to shake it and then put it back in, and then it can go a little bit longer before I need to change the waist bag. So yeah, it's not as big of a waist drawer, I don't think. And I feel like it's just the way that the waist falls into the drawer, it makes it kind of like fill up faster, or it thinks it's full faster. And I feel like in general, the waist drawer is not quite as big, but honestly, it's still a good size. But those are just some comparisons that I thought would be worth mentioning. So then let's talk about the entry height. So the Little Robot 4 does have a higher kind of step in height. So this is gonna be good for larger breed cats, but I honestly still think it's good for all cats. They also do sell steps. So if you have a senior cat, we actually do have the steps. It kind of acts as like a little extra like litter tracking area as well. But if you have a senior cat and it's a little bit too difficult for your cat to jump up into the litter robot, then the steps might be something that you would like. But then the Neakasa, this one has kind of a lower entry, so it's easier for your cats to get in it. It might be better for senior cats or young cats. Those are really the main comparisons that I wanted to mention between the two. Again, if you do want more in-depth details about each of these litter boxes, where I go really just a lot more in-depth about them, definitely check out my individual review videos. It is another day, so that's why I'm wearing something different. I realized that there were still some more things that I wanted to mention. So the last kind of difference that I want to mention between the Litter Robot 4 and the Neakasa M1 is the way that they rotate. The Litter Robot 4, it kind of turns like sideways like this, and then there's a little area at the bottom of the litter box where the waste will dump into to get into the waste drawer. So it goes like this. So because of that, I feel very safe and just confident that my cats can't get hurt using this, because, well, first of all, of course, all the safety features that it has, whenever it detects your cat, it will stop. But also just the way that it rotates, I feel like makes a big difference too, in just me feeling safe about it, because there's no way that your cat could really like get stuck in it. The only thing is if like, oh, they were just standing there and sticking their paw into the little waste drawer when it gets to that point. But I feel like that would just never really happen, because the machine itself, when it knows that your cat is in there, it's not going to rotate at all. So I don't see that ever being possible of even happening, because if your cat were to go to step in the litter box, even if it was already rotating, the machine would immediately stop. So I feel very safe with the Litter Robot 4. Now, when it comes to the Neakasa M1, I will be completely honest, when we first got it and I saw how it rotated, it definitely made me a little bit concerned at first, because it does rotate like this. So it has a kind of bigger opening area when it comes to dumping the waste. So this made me a little bit worried. However, something that then made me feel better about it was when I realized that it never fully closes. So there's no way that your cat would like fully ever get enclosed in it. It always has an opening space. So it does not completely close. So that was something that made me feel safe about it and good about it. And then of course it does have all of those sensors. However, after I had filmed the beginning of this video, I discovered something about the Neakasa that I did not know before, and I just feel like I want to mention it in this video because I feel like everybody should know about it when things like this happen. Something about the Neakasa. I don't know why I didn't know about this already. I guess because it's something that happened relatively recently, and it actually happened a little bit before we actually received ours, but I had never heard of this happening. So apparently in April of 2025, there was an incident where a cat did get injured with the Neakasa, and immediately when I learned about this, I was very concerned. This apparently was a very rare occurrence, and it's very rare that this could happen, but apparently the magnet got displaced and it actually made it over rotate what it would normally rotate, and a cat did get injured. Fortunately, the cat did not get killed, but the cat did get injured. So that made me extremely concerned, and I immediately reached out to the brand yesterday when I learned about this. But I also did see that on Facebook, Neakasa did post on Facebook talking about this incident and everything that they're doing to make sure that this never happens again. So I have the post pulled up so I can make sure I tell you exactly what happened. The issue appears to have been caused by an abnormal expansion of the gap in front of the bottom silicone pad. This may have led to a displacement or detachment of internal magnets, resulting in a failure of the rotation positioning system. In such cases, the chamber could potentially rotate beyond its intended angle, posing a safety risk. Now, that's something that always made me feel safe about the Neakasa, is that it would never fully close. So learning that this happened and that it was able to kind of rotate further than what it would normally rotate at definitely has started making me very nervous. But I don't want this to immediately scare you off of the Neakasa, because I do still want to continue using it. However, I am going to explain how I'm going to be using it, and also some of the things that Neakasa is doing to make sure that this does not happen again. So they said that this is an extremely rare event and the vast majority of M1 users are unaffected. They just said as a precaution, they're telling people to inspect the area in front of the silicone pad for any unusually wide gaps, and then check if the internal magnet is loose or has fallen off. And if you go to their Facebook post, they also put a YouTube tutorial on how to check for this to make sure it's all good. Something that they have done was to update the firmware. If you do already have a Neakasa, you can upgrade the firmware through the Neakasa app. They said that they have optimized the rotation logic. So this means that in the event of a magnet failure, such as dislocation or loss of the silicone pad magnet, the chamber will now stop at a much wider and safer angle, up to approximately 12 centimeters, instead of stopping at a narrower angle that could pose a risk to your cat. So they explain that you can upgrade the firmware through the Neakasa app. So that is something that you can do if you already have the Neakasa, but also something that's great, and I'm glad that they're really taking action, because this is very serious and made me very much nervous about continuing using this. What I'm going to be doing for now is I'm going to be using it in kitten mode, because I do not want any chance of there being any possibility that my cats could get injured using it. So I'm going to be using it in kitten mode for now. However, they do say that with the updated firmware of the app, it's going to stop at a much wider angle, so this can't happen anyway. But just for my own peace of mind, I'm doing this extra thing of using it in kitten mode to ensure just extra peace of mind for me. Basically, kitten mode is just that it will not actually automatically clean. So basically, you'll just have to go on the app and choose to cycle or clean it yourself, or you can just go up to the Neakasa itself and press the button to cycle it. So it's a little bit more of a step to have to go and cycle it yourself, but it's for the safety of your cat. So that's what I'm going to be doing for now. But something that's great is that they actually are in the process of designing a mechanical safeguard. It's a limit gear accessory for the main gear that physically prevents over rotation in the event of a positioning failure. So if you were to buy a Neakasa now, this should not be a concern. They said for all future batches, they will modify the main gear design in the M1 unit. For existing users, so that would include myself, they say that they will provide the updated gear as a replacement upon request. So when I did reach out to them yesterday, I did ask about getting that extra safety piece to ensure that I can still keep using it for my cats. For now, I'm just going to use it in kitten mode. They are coming out with an extra piece to just really ensure safety even more. So that is something that you can request if you do currently already have a Neakasa. But they do mention that any future batches of the Neakasa, it will have the updated design, so this won't happen. It'll have the updated main gear design. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that in today's video because I just learned about it. I can't believe I didn't know about this earlier, seeing how this happened in April, which is, we got the Neakasa, I think like the end of April or May. So yeah, I don't know how I didn't know about that, but I just learned about it. Thank you to the person who commented on my Neakasa review video and told me about it, and then I looked into it. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that here. Even with all of that, I still think that the Neakasa is going to be safe to use, but to make sure that you have the updated firmware for the app, and then also getting that extra safety gear piece. When I contacted them, they said that they're going to be getting that piece by next month, so August of 2025. So I'll be getting that around then, and for now, until I get that, I am going to be using the Neakasa in the kitten mode. So personally, I don't think that's like a huge, I mean, it kind of stinks to not be able to use it in the automatic mode right now, but of course I want my cats to be safe. I don't really think it's a huge issue to have to go and click the button after my cats use it, just to ensure that they are safe. So that's not like a huge deal breaker to me. If you are trying to decide between the Litter Robot 4 or the Neakasa M1, I think some things to consider are definitely your budget. Which one do you think is worth investing in for you? Because of course they still are both expensive. Again, the Neakasa is $400 and the Litter Robot 4 is $700. I do have a discount where you guys can get $30 off of the Neakasa. If you are interested, I will have that in the description box below. But then something else that you'll probably want to consider is which one you feel the safest with. And I know that after what I just explained about the Neakasa, that might make people really not feel comfortable with that one. But I just felt like that was really important for me to mention in this video. And I'm glad that I actually learned about that before I posted this video so that I could add this and let you guys know about it. Because yeah, that's definitely concerning, but I'm really glad that Neakasa seems to be taking it very seriously. And then you might also want to consider the size of the litter box. If you have a larger space and feel like you have space for a larger litter box, then the Litter Robot 4 is definitely a good option. I really do think that even if you have an apartment, the Litter Robot 4, I really don't think it's too big, but you know your space, and if you have space for something like that. And then if you have a smaller space, you might prefer the Neakasa M1 because this one is definitely more compact and it is smaller, so it could fit in a smaller space. So that is it for my comparison between the Litter Robot 4 and the Neakasa M1. If you are interested in getting either of these litter boxes, I do have them both listed and linked in the description box below. I also do have a discount code for the Neakasa if you are interested in getting that one. The code will give you $30 off, and you can either get it on Amazon or on the Neakasa website. I'll put the link for both of them in the description box below along with the discount code. There are different discount codes depending on where you want to get it from, but I'll put those in the description if you are interested in getting the Neakasa M1. So that is it for today's video. If you do have any questions, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I really hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Let me know which of these litter boxes you would be more likely to get. If you have either of these litter boxes, I would love to know your thoughts on them. If you're new here and you're not already subscribed and you want to see even more content from my channel in the future, I would absolutely love it if you would go ahead and subscribe to our channel. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you tune in for our next video.